because Marjorie Harvey and Steve Harvey are denying it.
Made a check, brought it back, shared it with you, put gas.
Since Marjorie Harvey and Steve Harvey are denying it made a check, brought it back, Shannon went to place gas in the vehicle, didn't beat on you, dealt with your children as opposed to his own children, 'cause you all playing right presently, you're excessively old for this, Katt Williams couldn't stand. Away from the show in Steve Harvey's life and to much entertainment of his fans, he continues to call the family quarrel have for being a phony relationship master since he permitted his better half Marjorie to cheat with the family faculty directly in front of him while knowing the harsh history between these two humorists. It seems as though Feline's jokes might blow up and bring significantly more difficulty. You won't beat me. It's unrealistic. The main thing you could do is relinquish. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Celeb Live channel. The world realizes Katt Williams doesn't think long and hard about conveying a decent joke yet. It seems like this time the entertainer could have gone excessive. Far. It's been said that Williams couldn't remain beside Steve Harvey's family dramatization connected with Marjorie's disloyalty, and he evidently transformed the family quarrel host's conjugal issues into one of his jokes, just filling the long-term fight between the comics. What in blazes you? Discussing what's going on with everything's occurring, I want to get into this since this can't be April tricks, can't be no damn joke, while Steve Harvey has gotten a place of a compelling and significant figures in the Broadway to individuals who knew him from the very beginning, like Katt Williams. He stays one major joke. Feline has proactively offered his viewpoint on Harvey's broad rundown of accomplishments and cast questions on his standing as an inspirational orator and a guide to admire. Then, kindly make yourself recognizable. He accomplished sufficient work that whether you feeling hurt or you're feeling in adoration or you feel like you don't actually have any idea what love is, he examined everything. Now, Katt Williams is saying that Steve Harvey better search for an extraordinary relationship guidance for himself, since his exquisite spouse Marjorie supposedly been faithless to him for a really long time with Steve's own guardian, in spite of the fact that when the bits of gossip about the Harveys' difficulty in heaven surfaced, Steve was unyielding to quiet the discussion and continue on from this show. Yet it appears to be that Katt Williams needs to relish this experience as long as he can, and he has purportedly hauled his foe through the mud. While certain fans imagine that the comic crossed a line here, and unfaithfulness isn't what you can utilize a joke against your industry foe, others accept that the family fight have made this show with his own hands in light of his boundless leniency towards Marjorie, and your mother is burning through 85% of all the cash I'm making. And this is the way this lady chose to compensate Steve for all the graciousness and liberality by upping. Now, Katt finds the entire story entertaining on the grounds that Marjorie and Steve have been hitched for quite some time. Before last month, she was blamed for going behind his back with their protector, and individual Jeff. Mrs. Harvey has demanded that these charges are obtrusive untruth. Composing on her own Instagram, my significant other and I don't generally stop to address all the stupidity and falsehoods that have been spread about us anyway. The reports immediately turned into the discussion via virtual entertainment, and many individuals couldn't stand away from this show. Katt Williams attempted to keep it proficient, yet, in the end, chose to involve Steve's family show as a hot pot for his stand-up material, dealt with your children instead of his own children. He couldn't, in fact, see his children. He's scouring your child's hand and putting his rucksack on in the first part of the day. Well, that is now a seriously embarrassing circumstance for Steve. Yet it seems as though Katt in no wants to stop, and he maintains that his industry foe should realize that he'll be benefiting on this diverting circumstance and bring it up during his meetings for a long time to come. Obviously, Feline finds it entertaining how karma found Steve's location that rapidly in light of the fact that he additionally betrayed his past wife, and think about who was the escort. Well, it's regardless Marjorie. Before Steve put a ring on her finger, she was partaking in the job of the comic's paramour, and they have been having an illicit relationship while he was as yet hitched to his subsequent wife, and Katt is currently saying it was the very result he had anticipated, it starting from the beginning of Steve and Marjorie's relationship, discussing it for 2 years and afterward this year. As many fans are saying, it's dependably silly to hear Feline's remarks about Steve, and surprisingly, however, missing some for being cheated at is somewhat not pleasant. It seems to be the family fight merits all that is coming his direction. As one individual remarked, I love Katt Williams. He's so underestimated, it's unfathomable this frivolous battling is beyond preposterous speed. And another client completely concurs with Kate. He composed it's the way that Steve has the nerve to carry on like relationship master and compose this multitude of books an individual on their third marriage is the last individual I'd take relationship counsel from. Many individuals are presently imagining that Kate is attempting to test Steve Harvey and check whether the comic has an adequate number of guts to answer to these wild remarks about Marjorie cheating, since even such an all-around gathered man as Steve has cut off points of his understanding, and all of you recollect how he hammered the gossipy tidbits about his significant other laying down with a protector. Just let me say I'm fine anyway. It's not whenever Feline first is behaving recklessly with regards to prodding Steve Harvey in spite of the fact that Williams has forever been known for expressing his genuine thoughts, which got him associated with a few high-profile fights he was unable to get through the covering of Steve Harvey, who has consistently exhibited that he was past any unimportant hamburgers with individuals with feline over years. Harvey and Williams has stirred things up around town with their quarrel. It might seem as though Feline was just envious of Steve's progress in each circle and that Harvey was getting increasing. Rich Williams didn't botch an opportunity to diss his industry foe and clue what a profane master he's been. Steve Harvey, I caught wind of your book and glad for your prosperity. It generally started with Williams freely projecting questions on Harvey's satire abilities. As it turned out, Feline didn't think Steve truly deserved a Lord of Parody title, so he attempted to uncover Steve being a phony satire title, comic, and he openly provoked him to meet in front of an audience for a legendary stand at Fight. The second that you get in front of an audience, I really want you to comprehend that that is your last time. As the ruler of parody water looks for its own level, you can't stop at Playboy. What will be, so I trust you're prepared. It genuinely want to believe that you got a group of essayists. You going to require around 6 or 7 of them. After that, Harvey ringed in to offer a perspective all in all circumstance to transform is into some sort of little meat. I ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't the way I do. Clearly, Steve had his own variant of this story, and he chose to imagine that having a quarrel with Feline was past his level, since he was after every one of the self-delegated the ruler of parody, and his vocation was accelerating to the level that Feline couldn't arrive at. He gladly expressed that there was no requirement for him to try and take an interest in such things, since he imparted the stage to a few astonishing jokesters, and Katt ought to have some feeling of regard while testing such deep-rooted people. You realize I've forever been on visit with for certain genuine beast man, totally definitely with the rulers. And concerning Steve himself, he reminded individuals that such modest elevating stunts as professing to be in a problem with another comic are not his truly thing, since he is a renowned professional comic, and one of the 4 unique rulers of satire doesn't have to cause extra to Otis himself. Supposedly, Steve even expressed a couple of things about Feline's effect on Katie, as he wished the comic to deal with his little vocation and be more unassuming while moving toward the business Goliath with his ridiculous recommendations. So this is a little hamburger thing that everyone want to need to begin, since you need to really establish yourself. That is cool. Do you know this large number of endeavors of Katt Williams to remain Steve Harvey considerably more might originate from his past craving the oust oneself declared Lord of Parody, and show to individuals that there's nothing amusing and unique in this man yet. As Steve says, the comic is just squandering his time attempting to rival him, since Harvey is moving without holding anything back while Kay is carrying on with a miserable existence attempting to get a piece of his prosperity. As he said in one of his meetings, a canine don't bark at left vehicles, a canine just barks at vehicles that are moving and heading off to someplace. Yet it appears Feline isn't prepared to surrender. That is the reason he's coming at Steve with additional frightful and embarrassing kids about Marjorie laying down with the family staff. As insiders guarantee, Williams can't discover a true sense of harmony of brain seeing Harvey flourishing profession, and he will utilize any rationale to spoil his appearance and verbally obliterate in the conceivable fight, and you'll lay there on your rear. They call it a blackout, yet for you I'll simply want to get them now. Many individuals are considering the way that Steve will answer this time, since Katt has apparently contacted an exceptionally delicate matter for the Harvey's family. Netizens are expecting another incredible quarrel where Feline may at last oppose his enemy and uncover his real essence as a phony master. As one individual remarked, feline just uncovered the hellfire out of Steve. Throughout the long-term, feline was more horrendous and better. And another client added, is Katt Williams right? Or is he right? All that emerges from that man's mouth is right on target for genuine. He is underhanded savvy. And I have such a lot of regard for him. Well, seems to be one more section of the wild quarrel between these joke artists is hanging tight for us. Hopefully there will be more delicious subtleties and quibbling. And what is your take on this, folks? Is it low in any event for Katt Williams to kid about Marjorie's betrayal? And keeping in mind that Steve Harvey answered to this, drop your contemplations in the remarks underneath and remember to check my different recordings well. That is all there is to it until further notice.